There you go. Okay. We do have the deputy calling in. She's on Teams. And we start off with the land acknowledgement in the spirit of reconciliation. We acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epigwit, Prince Edward Island. Mi'kma'ki is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kma'ki people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years past, present, and future. Call to order. Just want to recognize the Chinese New Year's is coming up this Saturday, the 14th, and then there's another one on the 21st, both at the Eastlink Center. And Councillor McKinnon and I were at the Tet celebration, which is the Vietnamese New Year's, this past Sunday, and it was a great event. So if you're able to get out to either this Saturday, the 14th, which will be at UPEI, I should clarify that, at UPEI Performance Center. It's in the new student residence, and on the 21st is at the Eastlink Center. And I just want to acknowledge that I did go to the Spud tournament, and I know Councillor Kevin, I know you will be acknowledged them in your report, but I just wanted to reach out and say that the Greater Charlottetown Minor Hockey Association executive, led by Keith Ford and his executive, were very instrumental in this tournament, and it was chaired by Brody O'Keefe. There's Jeff Young, Curtis Hall, Lal Hennessy, Ryan Power, Bruce Donaldson, Curtis Hall, Andrea McNeil, Alex McBain, and Roberta Dallin did a great job in the event, and Councillor Ramsey remember those days as the manager of the Midgets, which is now under 15. Okay, U15, U18. Okay, yeah, U15, U18. It's one of those numbers. Declaration of conflict of interest. Any declaration. Councillor Duran, which one are you under?
I believe it's number 2 in the planning section.
Number 2 in planning. Okay. Councillor McKinnon, are you in conflict in one of them, or are you?
I have in closed session.
Okay.
501 negotiations. I'll
yeah,
announce
okay.
it then.
Approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Tard, second by Councillor Ramsey. Oh, sorry, just 1 second.
Mayor Brown, just on the approval of the agenda, as Chair of Finance under item report 7.5, Finance, 3 resolutions as stated. I'd like to request that Resolution 3 be removed, the one relating to procurement bylaw, that go back to committee for a little more work. There's been identified there's some there's a little more work that has to be done on that, so if we could have that removed, please.
So you want to defer it?
For back to committee, thank you.
Councillor Twill?
Yeah, there's an item under closed door session regarding proposed property negotiations. When this was brought up at the last council meeting, I asked for it to be removed and deferred and sent back to the Public Works Committee. That did not happen.
Yeah.
And now it's back here.
Yeah. So we'll discuss that when we approve the agenda for the closed session. That'll come up. If you look at the closed session.
So I am requesting, like I did the last time, for that to be removed and sent back to Public Works.
Okay. I think that if you look at the terms of reference for the Standing Committee for Finance Administration,
Yeah.
there are 2 areas. The Standing Committee for Finance Administration is responsible for all fiscal matters, and also under another section, it's responsible for the purchase of property and the sale of property. So this is the purchase of property. And correct me.
But it also has to do with Public Works and the whole construction of the road and the cost implications, which was vetted through Public Works. So I find this troublesome that this was not vetted through the Public Works Committee because it's an expenditure of the $8 million or more
Right.
that was not dealt with at the time, and now it's coming in after the fact. And I requested respectfully for it to be sent back to the Public Works Committee because there's more questions to be asked. So, Masson Council, to follow the due process and send it back to the Standing Committee of Public Works.
Okay, I'm going to just repeat that. When we go into the closed session, there is number 2, approval of the agenda. So that's when it can be brought up. Okay, good. Time to move on. All right with the agenda? All in favor? Against? Okay. Deputy, yea or nay?
In favor, your worship.
So we have number 4, adoption of previous draft minutes of council, regular meeting of council, January 13th, 2026, special meetings of council, January 10th and the 28th, 2026, public meetings of council, January 28th and February 3rd. Can I get someone to move by Councilor Ramsey, second by Councilor Matard? Okay. All in favor? Okay.
In favor.
Did you have a point there?
Yeah, just on that, on those minutes, Wednesday, January 28th, council members present. My name's missing as present, Wednesday, January 28th, public meeting. Thank you.
That was the public meeting for the BIA? No, it was planning. That was a planning meeting? Okay. So we'll add his name, correct?
I will contact the resource for planning.
Okay. Good? Okay. All in favor? Okay, Deputy, good. I know you said yay. Okay. Business arising out of the minutes. Councilor Twill.
Yeah, I have a few items there I'd like to
Okay.
get clarified on. One is, page 2 of 5, January the 13th. QP 830 collective agreement status update was requested. I'm given to understand the contract was signed. I believe it was last week. The question I have is, the strike was over in November. Why was it, let's say, 2.5 months after the fact that the contract was signed? Why would it take 2.5 months to have that contract was signed? Because I thought there was an agreement by the mediator when the contract was signed. So if that was the case, why wasn't that contract signed before Christmas?
CAO Brad McConnell, do you want to address that issue? Or there's Emily, who is out there. She's out there in the gallery. There's also,
Well, thank you, Worship, and Emily and Richard, you can jump in here at any point, but my understanding is that they're working on language in the agreement, and there was some back and forth between the groups that took some time.
anything to add to that, Richard? No? Emily? That's good. Councilor Twill, you want to follow up? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to follow up. Well, I thought with the mediator that language and the agreement on, to end the strike, that there was agreement, consensus on the contract for 830. I mean, that's what ended the strike. So why would there be more negotiations going back and forth when there was an agreement and the mediator facilitated that agreement? Again, I'm puzzled as to why it would take 2.5 months to have that contract signed when the mediator did their respective job and brought the two sides together.
Yeah. That's why council should not be involved in negotiating contracts.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Point of order. I didn't ask if the councilors involved.
No.
You're sidetracking
No.
what the question that's on the floor. It's got
Yes.
nothing to do with
Yes,
whether
no.
a councilor's involved.
Emily's
The
here.
question is,
Yeah.
why was it 2.5 months afterwards for the contract to be signed when the mediator facilitated the agreement? Please tell me if I'm wrong. The mediator facilitated the agreement between management and the negotiating team representing 8:30.
Okay, so can we get someone to answer that, Counselor? Is that all right? I'm going to ask the CAO or Emily, who wants to take it on? Emily?
Thank you, Your Worship, and to Councillor Twill. While we did have a conciliator appointed, we were able to reach a return-to-work agreement. The terms of the collective agreement, the language for those provisions still had to be worked out, and that was done between the union executive and Cox and Palmer. And that came back to the city and then back to the union, and then we were able to get that signed more recently. But there was a bit of back and forth with language, but in terms of the provisions, those were agreed upon back in November. But to work through the specific terms and language, that had to be agreed upon as well.
Okay. Is there another part you want to look at, sir? What meeting?
To page 3, under Parks.
Okay, page 3. Same meeting?
What's the date? Because you're looking.
Oh, January 13th, page 3 of 5,
Okay, so
7.2. Concern was raised with respect to dogs off leash in Victoria Park. Subsequently, a resident sent in an email requesting, to paraphrase, evidence-based results as to what the responsibility is of the Humane Society, which we have a contract for $100,000. We have a dog bylaw. And, for example, how many calls were made to both, say, the Charlottetown Police Department, how many calls were made to the Humane Society, and what were the results of those inquiries? How many enforcements were made? How many, she requested a report, a detailed report, and I'm wondering, as a follow-up to what was requested here back on January the 13th, do we have information where it gives us a report where it is truly evidence-based results so that we can look at it as a council, decide to look at and conclude where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are? Because, as I said at the last council meeting, dogs off leash in Victoria Park, and you can throw in Confederation Trail as well, is very problematic because a lot of people that are in the park are truly intimidated by dogs in the park and want to know, for example, if our current format, the arrangement that we have, both with the Humane Society and, of course, with the involvement of the Charlottetown Police Department, want to know what the results are of that inquiry that she very clearly and accurately illustrated in her email.
okay. So, Councilor Ramsey, did that go back to the committee? And if we can't answer it, we can come back with the information.
Exactly. I believe we put the feelers out, Your Worship, and from what I understand, there's no response back, but there's new signage being made that we had at our Parks and Recreation meeting the other day. It's going to be bigger, larger, and a thing that you scan with your phone and things along that line, but we're still working on everything else. Thank you.
So thank you, Councilor Ramsey. So will you be coming back with a detailed report as to, how many times the Humane Society was contacted, how many times the Charlottetown Police Department was contacted, and what was the results of those inquiries? What do we have in terms of a presence in Victoria Park to act as a deterrent? And even more specifically, what were the consequences of people in the park, Victoria Park, with their dogs off leash? Some of these dogs are pretty intimidating, and people are scared, and there was a situation there, and I just want to see where we're at here. Now's the time to actually come through with a report card so that we, as members of council, as well as the community, can be truly informed.
Yes, we will be looking into that, and our Assistant Manager, Christopher's here. He'll be taking notes on that, and we're going to try and get all the details for everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Next one, sir.
I know that, Councillor Duran, your committee didn't have a chance to meet this week, or this past month.
Is this January 13th?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what page? You see, you're on the hard copy, so what page are we on the
Yeah, it's.
What is it?
Yeah. Yeah, 7.3, page 3 of 5, January the 13th.
Okay.
I'm just looking for, maybe staff or yourself, Councillor Duran, might have an update as to where we're at with the value for money audit for the fiber optic communications. That was in the minutes from our last meeting on January 13th. I think it did say, confirm that data has been forwarded to the audited firm, and a call is expected next week to discuss the next steps. I'm just looking for an update.
Councillor Drawn, update, please.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. We meet on Thursday, so I'm expecting an update at that time. So I'll forward it off to Councillor Twill, if that's okay.
Sure.
But we never met this month since our last meeting.
Okay. Councillor Twill, other minutes? Which one are you on now?
I'm at January the 10th.
January 10th? That's our monthly meeting, isn't it? No? Special meeting?
No, yeah, 2 of 4.
2 or 4, so what?
Page 2, page 2.
Okay, that's the hard copy. What's the digital copy?
I don't know. It's page 2 of 4,
Okay.
January the 10th.
Okay, and what's the
And
issue?
the issue is,
Yes.
I was just reading through here. In closing, Mr. Abbott stated that the Eastlake Center request is only a 2% increase in the city's operation subsidy, about $25,000. Revenue expected to increase by 7.5, expenses increased by 4.2. Projected surplus is coming in around 60,000. So if it's coming in at 60,000, I'm not sure as to why there would be a request for 25,000. Now, maybe there's more information that needs to come forward, but it is, the projected surplus is $60,000, which tells me that things are good in terms of the management of the facility. So if there's a projected surplus, why the need for the 25,000 in the operating subsidy?
Okay, so where does that go back to? That's parks or is that finance? Or is that economic development?
Well,
He was at the meeting. We didn't ask the question, did we? When he was at the meeting, we didn't ask that question. He did bring it up.
yeah, he did. It was right here.
Yeah, I know, but were you at the meeting on the 10th?
Nope.
Okay.
Just read it in the minutes.
Okay. Councillor Ramsey?
I think he said it's with salaries increase, and that's what it's for salaries and benefits. I was at the meeting, so I'm pretty sure that's where the 25,000 was. I could be wrong.
Can we get an update from Mr. Abbott?
Yeah, guess that's under economic development too, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know who is under.
Okay.
But salaries wouldn't.
Yeah, Mr.
Your
McConnell
worship,
took note of it.
yes, your worship, and I'll get clarity on it from
Okay.
council.
The next item is, the date is January the 28th.
28th, okay, that's public meeting, okay. Just 1 second. Page what? 2 or 3 or? Just trying to,
It's, wait, no. Bear with me.
okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's, page 3 of 4,
Of
January the
28th?
28th.
Okay.
My apologies.
3 and 4.
So it's January the 28th.
Yeah.
Page 3. And it's stated, it was noted that Councilor Matart forwarded his expression of interest to sit on the committee. However, his name was not included. A friendly amendment to add him was suggested, moved by Councilor Bernard. I moved the motion.
Okay, so can we get that corrected? Clerk is taking care of
Yeah,
that?
I moved the motion. It was seconded by Councilor McCabe.
Okay, any other minutes?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, okay. Any other business arising? Okay. Can we get a motion to pass the business arising in the minutes? Councilor Ramsey, did you raise your hand?
Sure.
Okay. Councilor Matard? Yes? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Deputy Mayor?
In
good?
favor.
Okay. Okay, number 6, council inquiries to be taken under consideration. Councilor Tweel, you have some council inquiries? Okay, hold on, just 1 second.
Yeah. I'd like to make a recommendation for a contemporary plan for Victoria Park, more specifically from a safety perspective, safety and security perspective, and to make sure that some of the signage that we have in Victoria Park, that there's full compliance. We have the issue with the dogs being off leash. Smoking bylaw is constantly being violated. There is no deterrence, there's no consequences. And there's open drug usage in Victoria Park as well. Currently, our security system is on begins on Thursday, goes Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday where there's no security. I'm suggesting that we expand the security even longer during the day and evenings, 7 days a week. We have a lot of people in Victoria Park that are using that crown jewel. And I think we need to look at Victoria Park that in the same perspective as a national park. It's not just a neighborhood park, it's not a community park. I would equate that as a national park.
Well, it doesn't have that designation, it's just,
Nonetheless, Mr. Mayor,
yeah.
it does have that same significance and the same numbers. I mean, a lot of people are in that park.
be nice to have it designated because federal money would come.
Right.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll try it again. I think in terms of security, I'm recommending, strongly recommending, I've received correspondence that we have security 7 days a week, a good portion of the day, moving into the evening. So please take that under advisement. Indicated to the resident I would bring that forward.
And that will be under budgetary considerations. Councilor Ramsey, you want to just get your comments?
Yes, we'll take it under advisement, your worship, and this was brought up a few years ago, and we'll certainly look at it again.
And I know
Pardon me?
the Brain Injury Association would have bicycle helmets also as part of that.
Signage is being worked on. There's different signage being worked on as we speak, your worship. Thank you.
Did you get that down there, Tracy? Good. Any other council inquiries to be taken under consideration? Okay. Okay. Reports on standing committees of council. Number 7, 7.1. Deputy, you want to take it over?
Sure do, your worship. Thank you.
You.
Good evening, everybody. And just a few things here. The Affordable Housing Advisory Committee has not met since the last regular meeting of council, but we do plan to resume our meetings in March. The Heritage Board has not met since the last regular meeting. Design Review Board has not met since met on January 19th, and copies of the minutes and reports are included in your package. We did have a public meeting of council held January 28th to consider feedback concerning applications under the Planning Act. Copies of those minutes are also included in your package. Planning Board met on Tuesday, Feb 3rd. Copies of minutes and reports are in your package. And the Planning and Heritage Committee met on Wednesday, February 4th. Copies of the minutes are also in your report along with the packet, or along with the report and minutes. We have 5 resolutions this evening for your consideration. And I just wanted to give you a few highlights, just a few updates. So we do work is continuing with the zoning and development bylaw, as the consulting team and Planning and Heritage consolidate feedback from city departments into a draft document. And we plan to coordinate with His Worship to find a time to have a meeting of council to review this before it goes public and before we head out to the public information sessions and public consultation. The pre-approved housing design initiative, the project is still progressing with the consulting team, advancing design development, educational materials, costing and planning for the next round of engagement. The next round of stakeholder consultation will take place in March, and more information is available on charlottetownhall.ca. In terms of our heritage preservation bylaw and the 500 lot review update, public engagement is commencing this week. Wednesday, February 11th from 5 to 7 at the Confed Center, and Thursday, February 12th from 5 to 7:30 at the Hillsborough Park Community Center. And again, if people can't make it in person, they can certainly engage with the online survey, which is again available on charlottetownhall.ca. And finally, the patio bylaw review update. We had the stakeholder engagement session was held February 5th at City Hall. Discussions and the key focuses discussed were like the streamlining of our regulations and licensing, consideration of extended operating hours, flexibility in design of patios, accessibility standards and improved safety requirements, balancing needs for on-street parking, and also staff will be consolidating all of this feedback from the engagement session and bringing it forward to council in a What We Heard report at a future council meeting. And also the patio bylaw is up on the Charlottetown Hall website, and people can engage and submit feedback for the next 2 weeks. And in terms of our official plan, we are still waiting for sign off from the minister's office, but we are operating on good faith that we will be proceeding with our zoning and development bylaw. And that's about it for my updates. And if anyone has any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Councillor Twill, can you just stand up, please? It's now part of the official meeting. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for your report, Deputy Mayor, and I certainly want to wish you well in your recovery. Our prayers and thoughts are with you and Stephen. Thank you. Just want to touch on one of the items that you brought up, and that's regarding the meeting that was held with the minister for land usage and municipal affairs. And one of the questions I keep asking is, in response to the delay for the passing or the administration of the official plan by the provincial government, what were the delays? Were the delays a result of developers not happy with the official plan, particularly in the downtown area, the 500 lots, or was it a result of residents in the neighborhoods and communities wanting to maintain the zoning that they currently have and not to have that zoning changed in any which way, shape, or form? I had a resident say to me, one of my constituents who pays $5,000 of taxes, reminded me quite clearly. She says, I pay for my zoning. I pay for that, so I don't want my zoning changed. I pay for it. My family's paid here for the last 40 to 50 years, and we don't want our zoning changed. So from an official plan perspective, in your meeting, Deputy Mayor, did the minister outline what the challenges were from the two sectors that I just outlined? Was it from a developer or developers, or was it from the residents that reside and want to maintain the zoning, current zoning that they have in their respective neighborhood and community? That's my first question.
Okay. Deputy?
Okay, thank you, Councillor Twill, for your question. In terms of the meeting that CAO McConnell and myself and his worship attended, there was no indication of any holds up, whether it be developers and or residential concerns. This really became more of a staffing and time thing. It's a really, really heavy, huge framework document, and there just wasn't enough staff in their department to be able to finish the review. So when we were there, they had said that it would be in the coming weeks that they would be anticipating to sign off on that document. And really, there was nothing that they really highlighted as things that they were concerned with. They were, the big thing is they hoped that they had wished that we could have done both zoning and development and the official plan at the same time, but that's not the way we did it this time. So a lot of the concerns of residents and developers if there are those, will be highlighted and discussed and during the official plan, public meetings, and that process.
And Deputy, just to add to that, the official plan, as you know, is the vision for the city. The nuts and bolts will be the zoning development bylaw. So you're right, and the CAO was there. There was no talk about what was brought up by Councillor Tweel. It was just, we're into a lot of time constraints, and there was also a leadership convention. Councillor Tweel?
Just a few more questions, Deputy Mayor, if that's possible. A question that a resident has asked me as well is, in order for a property to receive a Heritage Award, does the house or property have to be designated a heritage property in the city of Charlottetown? So in order to qualify or become eligible for a Heritage Award, does your house have to be designated heritage in order to receive an award? That's my first question.
Thank you, Councillor Tweel. That's a great question, and I'm not quite sure the terms of reference in terms of the criteria around people being awarded a Heritage Award. If Mike is there, he could probably speak to that. Because I'm not 100% sure if that is the case or not. So if Mike could take that one on for me, that would be great. Or Donna, if she's there.
She's not here, but Mike is here. Mike, do you want to?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through the Deputy Mayor to Councillor Tweel, there's a number of different categories that the city issues awards to, so we can provide further information to all of council and an update.
Yeah, it could be a heritage home, or it could be in the heritage area of the city, like the 500 lots. Councillor Tweel, another clarification?
I did ask a question last month, and I'd like to kind of reiterate and expand on it. And it is, when I asked about what is the formula, what is the criteria, what are the indispensable prerequisites for a house or property to be designated heritage in the city of Charlottetown? What is the standard? So is it truly subjective? Subjective to the point, well, we think it's heritage, or it's probably 60 years old and we should designate it heritage, but there has to be criteria, there has to be a standard. So what is that standard? What is the criteria, and what are the prerequisites? Or is it truly subjective?
Okay, Deputy, can you answer that one too?
Yep, thank you, Councillor Tweel. So I do know that the staff has a criteria and a terms of reference when they are evaluating properties, but we do have some gaps in our heritage preservation bylaw, which is why we are embarking on improvements and changes to that bylaw so that we can address things like if it's subjective or not. And so right now, if Mike wants to add anything to that, but I do know that we have work to do to seek better clarity on those types of questions that you're asking. And I'll turn it over to Director Mike if he wants to add anything more to that.
And I think, Michael, just in the future, it would be best if these questions pertaining to the bylaw, to policy, if these were emailed to staff, we could prep these answers and had them ready for Councillor Tweel, so when he goes back to his constituents, I got the paper. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship, and again, through you and the Chair, Deputy Yankoff, to Councillor Tweel. As the Deputy mentioned, there is a scoring criteria that staff currently use in all of the heritage assessments, so that's what has been used for a number of years now. We try and keep it as objective as possible. But to the Deputy's point, we are embarking on this review of the Heritage Preservation Bylaw. Public consultation is kicking off, tomorrow and into Thursday, where we'll get feedback from the public on, the vision for heritage preservation in this city. And we do know that we need to move forward with some timely updates of the bylaw itself to strengthen our ability to protect heritage resources in the community and more importantly, understand what properties are very significant in the community that we want to advise council on to effectively be proactive in protecting these assets. So that's the exercise that we're embarking on now, but happy to provide further information through an update to council. In fact, I know staff is very interested in providing a future information session to all of council and Heritage Board on all of our heritage matters, operational matters.
And Michael, could you also, there were changes made to the Heritage Preservation Bylaw back in 2018. Could we get that too, those changes and what we're looking at? Councillor Twill?
Just reading through the report, excuse me, with respect to design review, property down on West Street, which seems to be going through a rigorous process. You know, first it was a heritage designation. The board recommended no, recommended the council not to proceed with a temporary heritage designation. Council complied with the board's motion and did not. So, you know, now they're being subjected to design review, another rigorous process, costing the property owners, you know, more thousands of dollars to embark upon that process. So my question is, if you compare and contrast that with the Irving Oil Station on Houston and Queen Street, did the Irving Oil Station and that conceptual design, was that subjected to a design review?
Deputy, do you want to answer that question? What question do you want answered? West Street?
No,
or-
I'm basically doing a comparative analysis, Mr. Mayor, because the property owners trying to revitalize their house for their family, they're subjected to a design review after they're going through a rigorous process. Now, if you look at the Irving Oil Station, for example, and with the money that's being spent there and the heritage designation and everything else that goes with it, was this particular property, the Irving Oil Station, was designated heritage, was that subjected to a design review?
So can I just ask for some?
No, I'm asking a
just
question.
No,
I'm asking a
excuse me,
question,
just
Mr. Mayor.
clarification, the Design Review Board. The Design Review Board, when it makes a decision, does it come back to council?
Nope.
It's final there. So are you trying to discuss something to change something?
Oh, it's in the report, sir.
Well,
It's in the report, so if it's in the report,
you
we
asking
can
for something
discuss
to
it.
change?
So now here's my question.
You know
Is
the
the
question.
Irving Oil Station, was that subjected to a design review?
Okay.
Yes or no?
Deputy, could you answer his first question on 1 West Street? Did you want that answered first? Okay. Yeah. No.
Yep, I can answer that, Your Worship. The reason that the Houston Street Irving did not have to go through a design review process is because it is not located in the 500 lot area. So to Councillor Twill's question, no, it did not go through design review.
Okay, and 1 West Street, I think that's in the minutes, so I don't know what the purpose of discussing it. Do you want to provide any
Sure.
information, Deputy, as
Yep.
chair?
Yep, and just as a sidebar in terms of the Houston Street, although it didn't go through design review, it did go through Heritage Board review. In terms of 1 West Street, yes, the Design Review Board at its last meeting did choose to put 1 West Street through a design review process. And I believe the next meeting on that will be coming up on March the 16th. And so the answer to that is yes, they are going through a design review process.
So, Councillor Twill, I've been just looking at some councillors. You're up to 5 questions. I thought we said 3 questions. Am I wrong on that?
Resolution.
Okay.
It's on a resolution.
Okay, another question?
Yeah, no, I have to tell you, that I'm pretty disappointed that the property owner on West Street, who's just trying to revitalize their house, make the necessary changes, has to go through a very rigorous process, which includes a design review. But yet, we've got the property down in Eustis Street with all the fanfare, heritage facility, and it's not subjected to a design review. I find, 2 or 3 standards, to be honest with you.
No, there's one standard. There's the 500 lots, and then there's anything outside of the 500 lots, or design review, Michael, applies to affordable housing, correct? Can you just given the design review requirements? It'd be great if he was on the board with us. Go ahead.
Your worship, that's correct. Design review applies to affordable housing projects as defined in the zoning bylaw or properties within the 500 lots.
Okay, so I'm gonna think again now. Houston Street, the dividing line between the 500 lots, and the Houston Street Irving Station's on the north side. That's not in the 500 lots, correct? Okay. Good to move on. Councilor Twill, you want another one question? No? Okay. Okay. Did you want to go to, are we page 48 for the first resolution? Yes. Okay.
Sounds good.
Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 1, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the request to proceed to public consultation concerning proposed rezoning of the subject property identified as 231 Brackley Point Road, PID number 623090, to rezone from the institutional I zone to the Business Park Industrial M-3 zone be approved.
Questions called. Just to go to a public consultation. All in favor? Deputy?
In favor, Your Worship.
Thank you. Next resolution?
Planning Heritage Resolution Number 2, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the following major variance for the subject property identified as 3335 Corrigan Court, PID number 690800, be approved to allow a reduced minimum lot frontage of 9.587 meters and a 7.23 meters respectively for each of the proposed 2 future lots for separated existing semi-detached dwellings currently on the same lot in the low-density residential R2 zone. If approved, an application for lot subdivision to subdivide the existing semi-detached dwellings along the existing party wall will then be considered subject to a final PIN survey plan.
Questions called. All those in favor? Deputy?
In favor.
10-0. Next one, sir?
Planning Heritage Resolution Number 3, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the major variance for the subject property identified as 1884 Blake Court, PID number 784298 be approved to allow a reduced minimum rear yard setback of 4.23 meters for an existing single detached dwelling in the single detached residential R-1L zone, whereas a minimum rear yard setback of 7.5 meters is otherwise required to permit the construction of a proposed 48.31 square meter enclosed addition to the existing dwelling that would project into the rear yard.
Questions called? All those, Councillor Norman Beck. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to support this motion. I didn't support it at planning board, and I'm not going to support it here either. And I guess for kind of a few reasons. First of all, the variance is, it's basically a 45% variance request, which is substantial. I think if you're a property owner, going back to Councillor Tweel's comment earlier about people living in particular zones having certain expectations. And as a result, this is not an insignificant intrusion into the backyard. It's also one of the reasons for supporting it from staff, for whom I have a great deal of respect, was the idea that there is a privacy area with trees in the backyard. However, those trees are deciduous in nature and are seasonal. So any sort of year-round buffer is not there during the non-leaf seasons. So I think we have to be careful about, just because someone is looking for a variance, I think we can sometimes get a little bit liberal with those. And I think at times like this, I think this one is a little bit too much to ask in terms of what is being looked at. And for those reasons, and in terms of the predictability and the understanding that our residents should have around their properties, I will not be supporting it. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor McAleer?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, just in relation to the resolution, the biggest exception, I guess Councillor Breck has expressed it, it's around a 45% difference, which is, significant. So for that reason, I won't be supporting it. Thank you.
Questions called? Okay. All those in favor? Please put your hand up. Okay. Councillor Bernard? Councillor McCabe? Councillor McKinnon? Councillor Drawn? No? Councillor Ramsey? Councillor Twill? Councillor Bernard? Deputy Mayor?
In favor.
5-5. I will vote in favor of the variance. Okay, sir.
Your Worship, Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 4, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the request to rezone the subject property identified as 3 Oakland Drive, PID number 192245, from a single detached residential R-1L zone to the institutional I zone, and to change the land use designation in the official plan from residential to institutional to facilitate the future establishment of institutional uses of the subject property associated with Holland College be approved.
Questions called? Okay. All in favor? Deputy?
In favor.
Okay. Okay. Fifth one. Councillor Duran has declared conflict of interest, so he is now leaving the room. He's leaving the building.
Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 5, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it be resolved that the request to rezone the unaddressed subject property identified as PID number 1047562 on Stanmore Drive from the low-density residential single R-2S zone to the medium-density residential R-3 zone, and to change the land use designation in the official plan from low-density residential to medium-density residential in order to facilitate the future development of up to 12 stacked townhouse units, each on 2 separate parcels, for a total of 24 units be approved.
Okay. Councillor McKinnon?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just point out on the resolution itself, on our public consultation, I thought it came down that there was going to be a development agreement, that it was going to be 2 8-unit stacked townhouses. The resolution reads 12. But, I don't know if anybody else recalls that or not. Again, I'm not opposed to the development. The residents in the area are not opposed to the development of what's taken place here. But I don't support the staff's recommendation on the resolution because, first, I asked at the public consultation for an updated traffic study. To my knowledge, that has never happened. There was one done outdated before the 100+ units had been built in Phase 1 and Phase 2 in Hidden Valley. I asked for the city if they would ask for a plan for the future infrastructure for the residents of Hidden Valley. All the traffic right now is flowing through narrow streets, no sidewalks, that was built in the late 70s. There's already accidents, there's traffic backups coming in, and we're just going to increase this with more units, and we still only have the 2 access points coming out. A little over a year ago, we sat in this chamber, and it was approved to change the rezoning of Phase 3 in Hidden Valley to, from low density to medium to high density. So my question is, why are we now increasing this from R to S, low density, which is all residential and duplexes, and putting townhouses in here, when there's a subdivision right across the stream, about 100 meters away, with high density? Why can't they put it over there with these people, and the access would go out into a street that has lights, and not onto increased street traffic that we have right now? So I'm asking one of two things: either defer this until a plan and a traffic study be done, or deny this altogether and have the developer, and it's the same developer that owns Phase 1, 2, and 3, have the developer move this project over into Phase 3, where I think it's more of a fit. Thank you.
Councillor Picard?
Thank you, Your Worship. And again, it was more just in line with Councillor McKinnon's question about, we had a lot of discussion at the public meeting regarding 8 stacked townhouse units to 16. I do recall a discussion around the developer's agreement, or at least a verbal agreement by the developer. Maybe that still stands at this point, but I guess the way this is written, this would suffice up to 12 stacked townhouses. So I'm not sure if we have any insight into kind of where that is at this point. Maybe it's understood and we just don't know at this point, and it's just a formality of this. I mean, I'm prepared to support the resolution and the development there, but I think it was based on what we heard that night of the public meeting. Thank you.
Deputy, did you want to clarify, or do you want to ask David Gundrum or Michael?
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor McKinnon and Councillor Matard are not wrong. There was discussion around 8 townhouses. So I am going to turn that over to Manager David, and he could probably add a little clarity to the resolution. Thank you.
Mr. Gundrum?
Through the chair to Councillor Matart and Councillor McKinnon, I'd also recall that during the public meeting there was discussion about limiting it to 8 stacked townhouse units per lot, so a total of 16. And it was also suggested that could be further controlled through a development agreement with the developers as well to lock that in. Truly what the resolution is about is changing the zoning to R3. And that's actually what would happen. Now, the developers would be subject to the regulations of the R3 and the setbacks and the parking requirements and everything that comes with that. So they originally applied for a proposal to possibly do up to 12, but that would be subject to the controls of the R3 zone should the zoning actually be approved, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if 12 is actually entirely feasible off the top of my head, but really what this does is just rezone the property. It doesn't actually say that this is how many units you can build. That would be subject to the R3 regulations thereafter. So this doesn't commit to anything actually specifically, if that makes any sense, is to reflect what was applied for. And I would also offer that Council is free to make a friendly change to the language as they see fit on the fly if they feel the need to do that. So.
No, Councillor Tart, you can follow right up because you asked the
Thank
question.
you, David. No, I mean, that makes sense, and, you know, the lines with the discussion we had. However, what could be misleading is the actual resolution itself, which speaks to a little bit more than the rezoning. It kind of gets in specific up to 12. So I think for the public record and perspective, we probably should have it written in such a way that it's dealing directly with the rezoning from an R3 perspective, period. What subsequently falls out of that is another discussion and another debate, I guess, maybe on what that looks like. So I know Councillor McKinnon, I'm just going to put the friendly reminder to have that, you know, change to the R3 zone. Just in the wording.
Deputy, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I was just going to point out the same thing that David had highlighted, that council can definitely put a friendly amendment forward as Councillor Matard highlighted, to remove the area of where it says the 12 stacked houses, and it could just be subject to a development agreement. So it could have the medium density residential zone to change, as, subject to a development agreement. But I'll leave that up to council, how they want to reword that.
Okay, so that's going to be a friendly amendment, so the mover and the seconder have to agree to the friendly amendment. So, I know, but I'm just trying to, Deputy, do you agree with the friendly amendment? Yes, right?
Yes, I do.
And the seconder is Councillor McCabe, good? Okay, the friendly amendment is there. Councillor Beck, I have you down, and then Councillor Bernard.
What is the friendly amendment?
Yep.
Basically put a period there and take out all the other stuff.
Stacked townhouses, each on 2 separate parcels for a total of 16 units be approved.
No, just 1 second.
See, okay, can we get that clarified?
Yeah, we're going to get that clarified right now. You can get right up there, hold on, go up, stand up.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Just-
To clarify, what I put forward was if we were reading the current resolution
Yeah.
as it reads,
Yeah.
we would stop and put a period after low-density residential to medium-density residential period, and all the rest of that wouldn't be relevant.
She can do that right now. Can you do that with the PDF?
So that wouldn't be relevant, all the other, it'd be explicit in the things that come after the fact of what that looks like, whether it's
Here, you
812.
take
So the
that.
period would end after medium-density residential.
Okay,
You don't
just-
need to change anything else, you don't need to add anything else, just take out the last two sentences.
Did you get that, CAO, Brad? I just want to get this down first. Is that clear to you, what he's asking?
Well, it is, but before I second it, I have another bit of clarification. Because I agree that the resolutions need to be written clearer. I know it's language, probably planning language, but it's not language for the everyday person. So
Yep.
when we do this and put the period and we leave all the numbers out, that opens it up to an R3 zone, which will give him as of right to do 12 buildings if we don't put a development agreement in.
Just-
No, I know,
yeah.
thank you, I'm just gonna.
Just 1 second.
Could
Yeah.
you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah. Deputy, do you want to answer that, or you just defer it to Mr. Gundrum?
I think defer that to our Jedi, Mr. Gondrum.
Okay. Mr. Gundrum?
Through the chair, to clarify, if the resolution is altered, as Councillor Matart has suggested, it would just be a simple rezoning to the R3, and therefore, we would have to match up any future site plan for a future building permit against the regulations of the R3, and it's not to say that they could do 12 on the single lot. It would all depend on the size of that row house structure and whether setbacks can be met, how big those units are, right? So I can't say that we could do 12 for sure without
So
seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Councilor McCabe, you have to approve the friendly amendment, so you're the
Oh,
seconder.
yeah, I think I need to continue to get clarification
Yep.
then, because to me, I think what we all understood was that, and I believe the developer agreed, that he was willing to do an eight stack townhouse each for up to maximum of 16, and that's what we were going to indicate in the development agreement, so that's what would be built once, and if we decide to rezone this property. So yes, it is important, I believe, that we indicate in the amendment to a maximum of 8 units per lot, up to the maximum of 16. So I think that does have to be indicated here, or otherwise it's open, free for all in R3. Am I correct, or am I not correct?
Deputy, we're going to defer to Mr. Gundrum, good?
Through the chair, Councillor
That's
McCabe.
correct.
Sorry,
Go
my
ahead.
apologies. Through the chair, Councillor McCabe, you're correct in what you're saying, yeah.
So with my amendment.
Go ahead.
And Deputy Mayor, I would be okay seconding the resolution amendment, including where we would say amend the resolution to say 8 stacked townhouses, each on 2 separate parcels for a total of 16 units be approved,
Instead of 12 and 24,
instead of
right?
12 and 24. If
Correct?
That's what I'd be okay.
I agree.
Oh, you agree, perfect.
Okay, so that's
me
the
too.
friendly amendment. So CAO, do you got that? Glad you're doing it. Do
I think so, Your Worship.
Just- do you-
I'll,
you want to read it over?
yes, so that the request to rezone the unaddressed subject property identified as PID number 1047562 on Stanmore Drive from the low-density residential R-2S zone to the medium-density residential R-3 zone, and to change the land use designation in the official plan from low-density residential to medium-density residential, in order to facilitate the future development of up to 8 stacked townhouse units, each of 2 separate parcels, for a total of 16 units be approved.
Good? Good, Deputy?
In favor.
Okay. Counselor Beck,
Yeah.
you see the clarification there, sir?
Okay, so just so
Okay.
one of my questions was, anyway, it's kind of irrelevant right now. So if my understanding again is if this changes to R3, the 8 units is as of right. If I understood that from our public consultation meetings before.
Okay, so.
And that if you wanted to go to 24 or to 12, that would have required a subsequent, another variance under the R3 zone, because it wouldn't, kind of what you were saying there earlier, David, that it may not fit, and it would have to go in and you'd have to look at it, but under and can you just, I'm just looking for clarification that if it goes ahead, if we do make the R3 zone change, the 8 units is as of right.
Deputy, do you want to streamline?
Or sorry, yeah, sure.
Mr. Gundry?
Yeah, we can send that right over to David. Thank you.
Okay, Jedi.
Through the chair, Councillor Beck, you're correct in that if you add that wording to do a max of 8 units per parcel, that's what's directed for, and if you want to go more than that, we'd have to consider a variance in the future. So you're saying R3, but only up to 8 stacked townhouse units permitted, so, yep.
Because but that is as of right, like that's a maximum
That's,
allowable under the R3, correct?
well, you would be stipulating that as a max as of right, specific to those 2 parcels, yeah.
So does that require a variance, or is it just they can go ahead, because it's changed to R3, can they go ahead and build the 2 8 units without, I mean, obviously subject to the building
Yeah,
code and whatnot?
yeah, 100%, and then provided they meet their setbacks and
Yeah.
all the other regs of the R3, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, again, I didn't support this at the planning board meeting, and I'm not supporting it here again tonight for a lot of the reasons which I articulated before that Councillor McKinnon had indicated as well. I think, kind of tagged to what I was saying with the Blake Court situation, people that bought these properties in Hidden Valley originally bought them thinking that all 3 phases were R2. And then we went and approved a very significant zoning change between the Phase 1 and Phase 2 and the water course that exists. And if I recall correctly, part of the reason that we went to changing that to R4 was because the natural water course existed, and there was a buffer between the higher density up in Phase 3 and the lower density down in Phase 1 and 2. In addition to that, we also have a pretty significant piece of property that's just on the, I don't know what direction it is, at the end of Stanmore, that could potentially, we don't know what's going on in there. So again, I'm going back to I think this area has had enough zoning changes for what they originally purchased the property in that area for. And kind of, so again, in keeping with my, I guess, consistency or application, I can't support this motion even for the residential change. So my motion would be to not approve this motion.
Councilor Bernard.
Friendly amendment or not.
Thank you, Worship. No, I was just gonna, say, Your Worship, when we had the meeting that night, it was very clear, I think the developer was made it very clear that he's prepared to do 8 units per lot, and that he was prepared to sign a development agreement on that. I think there was 2 people here from the area. One of them was Mrs. Smith, that developer and her had their conversations, and she made it clear she was happier to see it wasn't going to be 12, it's going down to 8. And I think 8 with this R38, there was no setbacks or variances needed. If he was going to go to 12 units, then there was talk about some variance that were needed in the setbacks. So the developer was very clear that he's prepared to sign a development agreement to make sure that there were 8. So this here, what Julie recommended here, I'm okay with. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's right in the resolution that it's 8 stacked townhouses on the 2 lots. So I'd be in favor of it. Thank you.
Okay. Questions being called by Councilor McKay? Okay, all in favor? Please raise your hand. Okay, Deputy, yea or nay?
In favor, your worship.
Opposed? Councilors McKinnon and Beck. Okay, thank you. Is that the report, Deputy? That's it?
That's it, your worship. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Deputy. And can someone ask Councilor Duran to come back in the building? Just wait for him to come back in. Okay. Because he is doing the next report. Did someone go out and look for him? Yeah, she did, yeah. Oh, Councilor Duran's back in the building. Okay, Councilor Duran, your report is next. Do you want to just start right away, if that's okay, sir? Thank you, Mr. Grundrum.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. And the Water and Sewer Utility Committee meets on Thursday at noon. So if anybody would like to come and attend and ask any questions, feel free. The invitation is there. But if you have any questions on the Water and Sewer Utility Committee to us, or what happened last month or next month, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, 7.3, oh, Councillor Beck, do you have a question? Okay, Councillor Beck? Good. Okay, Councillor Mitchell-Tweel, 7.3, Public Works, and Albert is here. Thank you, Mr. McGinnis. Thank you for your time, thank you for your service. Okay, Councillor Tweel? Thank you. Thank you. Reports in your package. And then we have our manager here, Yael Barakashi. If there's any questions, I'll do my best, and Yael Bear can do a much better job than I can. Thank you. Okay. Councillor Beck, from Ward 3.
Yeah, thank you for your report, Councillor Tweel. I do have a couple of questions. The first one deals with page 127. And it was indicated that under heritage lighting and streetscape requests, it was said that councillors raised a desire for heritage street lights on historic streets such as Upper Prince and Walton Drive. Why is that being considered, I guess would be my question.
Councillor Tweel.
As the councillor for the ward, I've tried over a number of years to have the installation on Upper Prince Street, which is a very historic street, and Walton Drive as well. We have these old-fashioned lanterns south of Euston. I don't believe south of Euston has a monopoly on where these old-fashioned lights should be installed. There's no more historic street in the city of Charlottetown than Upper Prince Street, and Walton Drive for that matter. So that was the rationale and the logic. And I had residents in the past approach me to have the old-fashioned lanterns being installed in Upper Prince and Walton Drive. So that's why that request is there.
And Councillor Tweel, Prince Street School was built there. The first school was 1871. It probably was one of the, as Councillor Tweel said,
one of our more historic streets north of Houston Street. Yeah, so I am supporting historic lights for that area. Councillor Beck?
And that's fine, that's fine, your worship. I'm not saying you can't support it. I don't support it. I think we have a designated historic part of Charlottetown that's designated as the 500 lots, which is south of Houston. We were just talking about that in here tonight. So we do have areas within our designated historic area that do not have the heritage lights, which could benefit from having those lights. We had a recent presentation in here a while ago as part of a potential infrastructure project that requires underground water, could require some lighting, that sort of thing. So I think if we are going to be going with heritage lighting, my suggestion, and just, again, a contrary opinion, would be that we stick to the 500 lot area before we consider it anywhere else.
Councillor McCabe?
I'm assuming that's just in here because it was discussed. Like, there will be stuff coming through budget and stuff. This has not been supported necessarily by staff.
As you would say, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that's good. We'll talk about it then.
100%. Councillor Twill?
All members of City Council, that the historic and heritage component or the area of this city just doesn't lie within the south of Houston, right? You know anything about the history of this city and the history of Upper Prince Street and Walton Drive. I mean, it's widely known, commonly known. Maybe we need to bring in a historian to talk about the history of the city of Charlottetown and the historic homes that are on Upper Prince Street. So, residents are a strong proponent, and I support my residents' request. And I think it's long overdue to have these heritage lanterns on the Upper Prince Streets and the Walton Drives and other places north of Houston.
Okay.
Heritage and history just doesn't exist south of Houston.
Right. Yeah, so Walton Drive, before Walton Drive was School Street. Walton Drive is named after former mayor, Walton Goody. He's right up there on the wall. Okay, Councillor Matart, Councillor Beck?
Thank you, Your Worship. Not standing up to debate whether or not we need lights in various areas, but maybe what's drawing this discussion a little bit is just in how and the notes are being captured in these particular meetings. And again, it says councillors raise the desire. I don't recall raising that desire, but I may have the desire, but I didn't raise that desire. So if Councillor Twill did, then it should be noted that Councillor Twill raised that desire, maybe supported by the mayor. It also talks about Sherwood Rec Hall, where it says Councillor Duran requested a backup battery. I was at the meeting, Councillor Duran wasn't there, so I don't think he requested it. He may have requested it in other ways, but it's misleading to feel that you're there requesting that. And I know you want that, and I know I'm just trying to make a point here. I'm not trying to debate your thing. So that might be just a little bit of what draws some of the discussion here, is if we, have that type of clarity around some of the notes that are in here, which may have sparked why you're asking the councillors raise the desire to do that, when in fact it's not plural in that way. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents on it.
I think Councillor Twill is very clear that Upper Prince is a historic street, so do I. Councillor Beck? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to continue that debate. That could be for another time. Page 133, I have a couple of questions about the capital summary update. One was on the development charges background study. It was marked as 75% complete, but didn't we stall that? Or didn't we stop that because we're not going ahead with development charges? Or is that continuing, or is it stalled?
Councillor Twill? Just
Mr. Manager. Mr. Manager. Want to answer that?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through the chair, Councillor Twill. Just speaking with our manager here, the implementation of a development charges bylaw, which was discussed, is is paused at the request of council. I believe that was a motion a couple months ago now. However, I think we discussed this in a previous council meeting as well, but the background work to inform that potential bylaw still continues to completion. So there was a company hired a number of months ago now to start and complete that work, and that information is very important for the city so that we can better understand the impact of growth on our overall infrastructure needs. So effectively what we'll have at the completion of that study is an understanding of the infrastructure gap needed to sustain the continued growth that the city has experienced over the last number of years. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, that does.
Deputy, did you want to ask a question, Deputy Mayor?
I did, but I meant to message Tracy back. My questions were answered with everyone else's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Duran,
Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Yep.
Just two quick questions here for Councillor Tweel. We were given emails about this hostile vehicle mitigation issue, and they come back and forth through the emails, and there was no conclusion. We also received a email on February the 2nd on 52 Maple. And, you know, you were good enough to bring it forward, but there's no answer to us. So you're sitting here wondering what's going on. You're reading the emails. You know, I'm just wondering if you could get staff to respond or yourself, or because, you know, when you're sitting there trying to figure it all out, we don't have the answers. And I think it's just for myself, all of council, we don't have the answers. So I'm just wondering if you could update on those two, maybe through an email or a call tomorrow, or if you're available here, that'd be great.
Councillor Tweel.
So is that the new barricades that council passed a resolution?
Yep.
So, and the question again was?
Well, I don't know if it was sole sourced at that time, and
No.
it just seemed to be another company was, you know, upset. Maybe they weren't treated fairly. Was the process followed? You know, what is the reason why the continuous email through a counselor, I guess, and it just wasn't explained. You know, the person was upset. I'm sitting there wondering what's going on. There was no conclusion for me, myself, so I didn't know what happened there.
No, that's a good question. We did go through, we followed a very competitive procurement procedure.
Yeah.
There was 4 companies, I believe, had the opportunity to bid. The company that was awarded the process, was in your package last month. There was, you know, benchmarks. There was, they were rated each. There was different categories. There was a total, and the company that won the bid was brought forward by senior management in the Public Works Department to the Public Works Committee. We had that deliberation at the Public Works Committee table and brought it forward. And in fact, even Councillor Beck even asked a question on that. The concern that was raised by a company, I believe, that was disqualified, I made sure that when we received that email, it was just council that received it, our senior staff didn't, and every time there was correspondence, I relayed that message to the CAO, the manager, communications, and anyone else at the Riley Tweel as well, to make sure that the Public Works Department was well informed. So having said that, I will turn that over now to our manager so he can give the specific reasons why that particular company was disqualified.
Right.
Thank you, Councillor Trill, through to Councillor Duran. So I don't believe that a formal correspondence has been sent yet to that specific proponent that was sending those emails, but I can make sure that whenever that goes back, that all the councillors that were CC'd in those emails, I know there's a variety of them back and forth, that you guys are also made aware and understand all the reasoning and rationale for it.
Councillor Drawn, did you want to just get up? I think you were asking about 52 Maple Avenue. That Mrs. Dussault, Mrs. Miss?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great explanation. I just want closure on why, because there was a lot of emails going, you're trying to figure it out, but I guess if you're still in the process, then, you know, as long as it was done and you know, it was vetted through the committee and through senior staff, that's fine. But it's just that I didn't know myself what was going on, right? You're waiting for the last email to conclude it, so that was the question there,
And
but.
52, did you ask about?
52.
Okay,
He
Councillor Twill, do
lives-
you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I know the resident, and, you know, there was no closure on that issue
Yeah.
either, so.
Just 1 second, Councillor Twill.
Two is concerning possible land negotiations, which we can't discuss in a public forum. But I made sure, in fact, I did follow up with correspondence to senior management, once again, CAO, manager of Public Works, and I believe our manager of Parks and Rec got it as well, to make sure there's that committee participation, collaboration, conciliation, facilitation, and all those wonderful words.
And finding consensus. Okay.
So, Councillor Duran, when I have a follow-up, you'll be the first one to know. But when we did receive that back prior to Christmas, I responded. And again, because it's possible land negotiations, we can't discuss that in the public forum.
Okay, sir. Good.
It's just, I understand fully about that, but when an
Councillor
email
Twill, can you
comes
just
out,
sit down, Councillor Twill?
when the email comes out and it's like, wow, that's great that you did that, and it was copied, but there's no closure, you know? So I see this person in the street and, well, what's going on? Not sure, you know, I'll ask today. So it's just something that council can be aware of when there's questions asked and people are copied. Let's try to close the circle that we know what's going on, right? You know, I appreciate that email and you know, so does the resident, but we just have to have closure on it. Thank you.
I think you raise a good point, Councillor Duran. I mean, emails are sent from elected officials, and whether it's Public Works or any other department, I think senior staff have to understand the urgency and the complexities and the just how important it is to respond to elected officials so that we are informed in a timely manner. So, Mr. CAO, could you please take that under advisement to ensure when you have your staff meetings that when these questions or inquiries are made by elected officials, that we receive a response in a timely manner? Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Beck and then Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Just one more question, and again, on page 133, it's with regards to Spencer Drive. I know that it's indicated 90% complete. Design work is at 90% and waiting for funding. We've seen this waiting for funding for quite some time. It seems to be on the books for a long time. This is a project that personally speaking, I see as being important when you look at making that connection between to Mount Edward Road, potentially opening up areas which we've already approved for development and that sort of thing in that area. So can we, much kind of like we were having the discussion earlier about the official plan with the lag on it in terms of getting any answers for it, what is the holdup in terms of the funding piece of this? And if that could be clarified here, Councillor Twill.
Councillor Twill.
I think, Councillor Beck, if you go back and look at some of the email correspondence, Michael Roos, our Director of Planning, did answer those emails. If you go back, Mr. Roos, would you like to reiterate the response that you did in those previous emails? We're going back now a few weeks, but I do recall Michael Roos responding, and you should have a copy of that, Councillor Beck. And Mr. Roos, if you would please reiterate what you said in those previous emails.
Or just resend them.
Yeah, just maybe resend.
Go ahead.
No, just 1 second, hold on. Can you resend them?
I can certainly resend them.
Okay. Councillor McCabe.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Twillie, for your report. I just was looking at the city entry signage, and, you know, ground is frozen, makes sense. Awaiting permission, location's not on municipal property. Where are we putting the sign if, welcome to Charlottetown, if it's not on city property?
That's in East Royal.
It is coming in on St. Peter's Road. So what we're asking permission to put it where? Out in Marshfield? Like, or why wouldn't we put it on our own city property?
Good question.
I can assure you that our staff has been working very diligently on the best spot in the new annexed area, formerly Marshfield, particularly on the left-hand side going out to York Road. So our staff, Albert, our senior staff, our manager, Jody McKinnon in particular, this comes up at our public works meetings, I guess on a regular basis. So they're looking for the proper spot in that area, and hopefully that'll be installed in the not too distant future. And Albert, would you like to even expand further, please?
Sure, thank you, through Councillor Twill to Councillor McCabe. So I think it is going to be within the city boundary. When we're talking about our kind of land, we're talking about the right-of-way. So there isn't enough room to put it in the right-of-way or in the grass area per se. So if we want to put it that far out, we're looking at potentially developing an easement or some type of agreement to put it on somebody's front lawn, still within the city boundary, so that it's not impacted by snow clearing or anything else like that. And it's still on the outskirts, right, when you come into the city, but it's in a correct spot. So still working through all of that, and we'll give you an update.
Okay, Councilor McCabe, do you want to just say that?
No, do I want to
good.
say
That's
what?
good.
No,
That's
I just
good.
want to say thank you for that, and that makes a little bit more sense. I
Yeah.
just hope we can get it up by
Yeah, hopefully
summer.
it's lighted for the evening drivers. Okay, Councilor Beck?
Just to go back to my previous, I mean, I did ask a question in public. This is on the public record. I think, but then we're making the determination that we're going to get an email sent back. I would like a public answer to my public question, if that's okay. For why do we have the wait? What is the delay? And my apologies if I missed an email and I don't recall receiving it. I do get quite a lot of emails, and if I did miss it, my apologies. I can go back and look at it, but I think
Well-
for the public record, since I did ask the question, I think maybe if we could get
Michael, are
an
you?
answer for that.
Sorry, you have to go through Councilor Twill.
You know, a good question, Councillor Beck, and as it did indicate earlier, Michael Roos, the Director of Planning, did send a response, and I thought it was very an informative response. So I tried to get an answer the first time around, so I'm going to take another shot at it. Mr. Roos, would you please answer Norman Beck's question?
Excuse me, I'm just being respectful to the.
No,
to
you
the-
cut
No,
it
no,
out.
to the
You
director.
said-
That's
you
why I
send
just
an
said,
email.
that's
The man
why I
asked
said.
a question.
He
No,
was
hold
not,
it,
he
Mr.
was
Mayor.
not prepared for it. So
Councillor
Michael,
Beck asked
no,
a
no, just one
question.
sec. Michael, could you answer, please?
Jeez.
Thanks, Your Worship. And again, just for clarity, the email we're talking about is in regards to the infrastructure fund.
Schiff.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification on that. I'm just trying to find the email to share with council, but as council is aware, staff have been working on this for quite some time. Submission was made, I believe, with a resolution of council quite a few months ago now. I want to say it dates back to early summer of this past year. We've been working with both levels of government to try and pursue this funding so that we can move forward with some essential infrastructure upgrades. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have an update from government on the status of that specific application. But as soon as we do have an update, you folks will be the first to know.
Yes, so when you get the email, we can read it in the public record, but Councillor Beck, do you want to ask again?
Thank you.
Good, is that all right? Okay. Just wait for the email and then we can read it in the public record. Okay, good. Okay. So there is a resolution, but that's in the closed session. Environment sustainability.
Say that again, please.
Look at 7.3, look at your agenda.
I see the agenda.
It says one resolution anticipated
Yeah.
following closed session.
What's that under?
You'll have to wait till the closed session.
Is it Public Works?
It's, look.
It's in Public Works, right? So that was my point. The point that you're bringing that back up in a closed-door session when it wasn't vetted through the Public Works Committee should be brought back to Public Works. You're short-circuiting the process.
Anyways, we'll wait till we get to the closed session. Okay. 7.4, environment and sustainability. I know it's different resolution. That's why we'll wait for the closed session. Thank you. Again, we have two agendas, open and closed. Okay. We have Councillor McKinnon.
Thank you, Your Worship. Environment and Sustainability Committee did not meet in January. There's no resolutions for your consideration. Just a note that I'd like to add that public transit, as in January, we saw just over 106,000 rides in Charlottetown. It's a 16% decrease compared to January of 2025. More so related to fewer international students. UPI students returned to class 1 week later than last year, and there was 9 days of extreme cold and snow. On another note, East Royalty ridership remains strong, reaching 738 rides in January. So that's my report, Your Worship. If there's any questions, Manager Jessica is here.
Any questions for Councillor Trevor McKinnon? Ward 8. Deputy, I can't see you. Any questions?
No, thank you for asking. No questions for environment and sustainability.
Okay. We can move on to Finance, Audit, Tender, and Administration Councillor John McAleer.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Finance, Audit, Tender, and Administration Committee met on Wednesday, February 4th. Information's in your package. At the first of the meeting, modification to the agenda. Report says there's 3 resolutions. There's 2 resolutions for your consideration. Respectfully submit it. I'll do my best to answer any questions if there are any, and thank you.
Okay. You wish to go to the resolutions there, CAO?
Your Worship, Finance, Audit, and Tendering and Administration Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Councillor Terry Bernard. Let it be resolved, the Council approves the budget transfer of operational funds in the amount of $28,000, which were initially budgeted for environment and sustainability special projects, to the switch, admin, and other expenses, and that the reallocation of these funds will ensure that the future invoices for the remaining fiscal year will be paid to Switch for them to continue their work for administrating the PACE loans.
Questions called? Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Deputy?
In favor, Your Worship.
0, and Councillor McKinnon stepped out. Go ahead, sir.
Finance and Audit and Tendering and Administration Resolution Number 2, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Councillor Terry Bernard. Let it be resolved, the Council approves the budget transfer of operational funds in the amount of $18,000, which were initially budgeted for Parks and Recreation and Development, $9,000, and Parks Fences, $9,000, and move these funds to maintenance supplies, materials, and that the reallocation of these funds is to cover the rising costs of supplies throughout the year and to ensure that money is available for outstanding and forecasted expenses.
Questions called? All those in favor? Okay, 9-0. Councillor McKinnon is out of the chamber.
In favor.
Thank you. That's it, Councillor McAleer?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next one is Human Resources, is it? Councillor Norman Beck, Ward 3.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Human Resources Committee did meet yesterday and managed to, thanks to Tracy, get the report out into your hands. If there are any questions about any of the items on the agenda or on the report, I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay. Looks good. We do have one, but that's in closed session. It'll come out. Okay. Counselor Terry Bernard, Economic, Tourism, and Cultural Development. And Wayne Long's here.
Your Worship, just some issues that I'd like to make council aware of. One is it's good news for us. Sumu Bioscience has acquired a new facility on Brockley Point Road in Charlottetown, Your Worship, which will serve as its global headquarters and expanded operations site. The move supports the company's growth, innovation, job creation, and expanded global research, positioning the site as a central hub for future bioscience development. So, Worship, more growth in our biosciences for Charlottetown.
Thank you.
So, good news. Under the events, the Charlottetown sports events throughout January and February, Your Worship, the city has hosted the Confederation City Classic Basketball Tournament, the Charlottetown Ringette Tournament, the Island Gymnastics Academy Prince Edward Classic, the Spud AAA Minor Hockey Tournament, and the annual Sweetheart Female Hockey Tournament. I just want to let everybody know that just those tournaments alone, the economic spin-off to Charlottetown is $10 million. So, Your Worship, then we have upcoming this weekend is the Jack Frost Winterfest, and the residents are encouraged to get out and enjoy the winter festivities over the Islander Day long weekend. So, Your Worship, one other thing I'd like to bring up, it's kind of under the sport tourism economic perspective, I guess, but we've been successful, everybody knows, in hosting the Grand Slam of curling. We've secured the Scotties, so there's a lot of questions about, the city of Charlottetown doesn't have a curling facility, and should we? So I wouldn't mind, Your Worship, if our department of staff could work with Parks and Rec staff and maybe communications to put up a survey and just survey the residents of Charlottetown what their opinions are on should we have a curling facility, where they see it located. Because my thought would be, if it's a good opportunity here, and as we know, when Simmons was built, it was already built to be able to handle another ice pad. So it has the HVAC, it has the plant, and so on. So it'd be interesting to see what the residents of Charlottetown feel about that possibility of Charlottetown having their own curling facility. Simmons, as we all know, there's 3 schools in there, so. The curling community, I guess, has been very vocal in trying to move something towards a curling facility in Charlottetown. So for me, I think we should do a survey to see what the residents of Charlottetown say, and then from that survey we can react.
Good point.
Other than that, Your Worship, if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions? Counselor Beck? Counselor Twill?
I don't disagree with going to the residents for a survey, Councilor Bernard, but I believe the long-term plan for that property that you referenced was to build another arena for figure skating, speed skating, hockey, all different sports. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. There might be other locations that the city could embark upon, and I believe some of the representatives from the curling community have been meeting with members of council. I know they met with me, and they're also looking for, I stand to be corrected, they're looking for the city to own the facility, much like what we do with minor hockey, the Simmons, hopefully a new facility in Maple Avenue, ball fields, multi-purpose sports fields, tennis courts, whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront as well. I think they want the city, the community, to own the facility. So I just wanted to bring that forward as well.
I think Summerside, do they own their curling rink?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Twill. I think for council, as opposed to for us debating, I think that's why the survey is very important. And then the cost will come in. I mean, I'm hearing and these are rumors, but I'm hearing, you know, with the Sims facility and with what's the infrastructure that's in place now, this current facility may be able to build for $8 million, between $8 and $10 million. Not official, so it'd be nice to get a survey done, see what kind of reaction we get from our Charlottetown residents, and then from there, we'll work with our Parks and Rec people, and it will get a mock-up of what it could look like and what the cost would be. Right now, I understand that, I think you were on the news the other night talking about Cody Banks facility, and my understanding is that it's being looked at now to see what the longevity is. So, it could be up to another 10 years, so that facility won't be replaced, if that's the case. It won't be replaced for another 10 years. So this was just something that was asked, and so I think it's probably prudent to put it to our residents, see what they say. And then if we get a very good response, then we'll take it to the next step, and we'll see from there where it goes. Okay? Thank you.
Councillor Beck is ready. Go ahead, sir. Did you want to go ahead, Councillor Twill? Yes. Sure, go ahead.
Councillor Bernard, did you hear anything about the city having discussions with the town of Cornwall and their facility, maybe contributing financially to expand their facility? I'm hearing rumors that there's some discussions or some thoughts going on, the city collaborating with the town of Cornwall. Are you hearing anything in that regards?
Collaborating with them over what?
Adding, maybe being a funding partner to expand their facility, their curling facility. It was brought to my attention, so I just wanted to ask if there's any discussions ongoing.
I haven't heard a word on that.
Oh, okay, so.
No, I haven't heard a word.
Okay, no, I just wanted to bring that forward. I just wanted to let you know that I did hear
Well, I
there were
probably
some
wouldn't deal with
suggestions.
rumors anyway, but I haven't heard that.
Okay, okay.
Yep. No rumors, okay. Councillor Beck?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea of the survey. I don't want the survey to be leading a particular way. I think the idea is to solicit information. I think His Worship has mentioned here multiple times about the idea of shared services regionally. We are a pretty small area. Maybe there are opportunities for partnership elsewhere. So I don't want to be leading, say, okay, what do you think of this particular idea? If we're going to do a survey, I think we solicit general ideas. Could be an idea out there that sits out there no one's ever thought of, that could be a much better location, much better solution. So I would not like to come in and have it felt that this is kind of a predetermined, we're leading you down to get your ideas on this project. I think I'd like it to be an open-ended if we're going to go down that way and keep it open to multiple opportunities as opposed to just coming in with twinning Simmons Arena.
Sir?
Thank you, Councillor Beck. I think, and that's the whole idea of the survey. That's why I'd like to put the survey out, have it question, point-blank questions, and see what the response is.
Yeah.
So,
And a
thank
new
you.
facility could be a regional facility too.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, shared services, strong communities. Deputy? Deputy Mayor, can you hear us?
Thank you. Yep,
go ahead.
I can. Yep, thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Bernard, I'm just curious. I guess it was when I was listening to one of your meetings, and you can always get back to me by email. I know you guys, I think, are working on your updating your events policy, and I'm asking more with my Ward 1 councillor hat on because I know a lot of the events usually take place in the public right-of-ways in my ward. And I know some equipment's being purchased by Public Works for events happening on the street. And I'm just wondering if when you have some time, or maybe it's coming up at your next committee meeting and I can listen then, if there's any kind of update on that policy, or kind of where currently it may be where it stands.
Councillor.
Okay,
Chair
so,
Bernard.
first of all, it's great to hear your voice, Councillor Yankoff. Great to hear
Thank you.
you're recovering quite quickly. And also great to hear you found your third dog. So,
Oh, yes, we all know how much I love Walter Blanche and Doris.
So you have them all back together, so you know what? That's great news. So you're asking about the event file, the event policy that we're working on? You're just looking for an update on that, is that correct?
That's correct. And if it's premature, that can, if there's a meeting coming up, I'll just listen into the meeting. I just, just with the Ward 1 hat, I just, threw that at you now. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's fair, no. Our manager, Wayne Long, and our CAO will be working on that file. I'll get you an update tomorrow on where it is. I guess before it comes to council to get passed, I'll probably let you review it, since a lot of the events are happening in your ward. So, does that sound good?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And council, that can go to all council, right, Wayne? Could that could go out to all of council? Yep. Right, Wayne? Yeah. Via email. Okay, thank you, sir. Strategic priorities, communications, intergovernmental cooperation, Councillor Justin Matert, Ward 2. You don't have to.
Good evening, everyone. The Strategic Priorities Communication and Intergovernmental Cooperation Committee met on January 29th, and the draft minutes of that meeting is in your package. We have no resolutions for your consideration this evening, and if there's any questions on the discussions that we had during that meeting, I'll do my best to address them. Thank you.
Councillor Twill.
Thank you for your report, Councillor Matart. Looking for an update with the purchase of the Boulder Park, $4.8 million on Boulder Park, only to find out after council voted on the resolution that we don't have the final say in the property. There was a Christmas event had taken place on Boulder Park, and I understand that the final conclusion rests with the Speaker's office and the province, more specifically the province, and it's not city council, even though we unfortunately didn't know about what the final outcome was going to be with the purchase of that property, $4.8 million, and we don't have the final say. So, sir, can you tell me, since it was discussed at your committee a few months ago, or could you please take this back to your committee, and I'd like to know how decisions are being made which impacts the city of Charlottetown, since we now own the facility, yet we don't have the final say. So, we provide the services in kind, whether it be Parks and Recreation, whether it be Public Works, police are there, all resources. So, please, sir, if you could take that back to your committee and update us as to what the latest transaction is.
Okay. Councilman Matert.
Thank you, Councillor Twill, for your questions. And to be transparent with you, I know during the December meeting, I had asked to have that agenda item brought forward, but considering the month of December and things that we were trying to get through, and then, of course, moving into budget, we haven't had it in our last two meetings as a discussion. However, it's planned to be on the next agenda for an update on the work that is being done. And I do believe it still is being led by Michael Russ with the province and more importantly, the Legislative Assembly, working on that grounds policy or grounds use policy, I think they called it. So I don't have an actual update on that, but I'm as eager to see that as well and where we are. And my understanding of kind of how things are operating over the last 2 months on that property, given the holiday season, those events would have been somewhat status quo from previous years and how things were operating there. And and again, I don't know who was here representing that area, but that would be my understanding, is that the mistletoe and other events that were there would be just in line with what was done previously. So I don't think it has changed much on that, and whether or not we authorize that, they authorize that, I think there's an agreement there for those particular events. But undoubtedly, we need to sort out the future and that property and what can be done from a ground use policy perspective. So I'll commit to taking that back to our meeting for our next agenda item on there to get further information for council.
Yeah, that's good, and because it's all about intergovernmental cooperation. Councillor Twill.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Councillor Matart, because, since I raised the issue about the validity of the resolution itself, because the terms and the conditions were not illustrated in the resolution of the $4.8 million expenditure, and council not being made aware, which it should have been illustrated in the resolution, it wasn't. So it's kind of a guessing game, and we're trying to, I guess, guess as to what's taking place. But I appreciate the commitment that you made here tonight. I know you will. You're a man of your word, and take that back to your committee to see what the agreement is, what say the city has, what say the city doesn't have, and to see, who makes the final decision.
Yeah.
If it's status quo, then we should have been told up front.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Again, it's about intergovernment cooperation. Councillor Bernard.
No, I was just going to say, Your Worship, I mean, when the resolution came through,
Yeah.
it may not have been on the main page, but it was in the backup information.
Oh, no.
Well,
Why is it, why are you talking about this?
I know.
this all- this was
It's
all
going to
back
keep
in
coming up.
Closed
Yeah.
session before we passed the resolution.
What?
So it was in the
No,
background.
I know it's not in the
It's in
package, but
background information.
hey, he's allowed to ask questions. Remember, ask as many as he wants. Okay. Okay, strategic priorities, communications, is that it, sir? Okay. 7.9, protective and emergency services. Councillor Julie McCabe.
No, thank you. So the Protective and Emergency Services Committee met on the 20th of January. The minutes are in your package. We don't have any resolutions for consideration tonight, but we do have the first reading to repeal the Emergency Measures Bylaw, to replace that with the Emergency Management Bylaw, which is included in your package. If there's any questions, I will do my best to answer. We have our Deputy Fire Chief here tonight. Our Intern Chief of Police is not here, but I can always forward some questions if need be.
Councillor Beck and then Councillor Matard.
Thank you, Councillor McCabe, sorry. Page 254. Go there. Sec, I gotta find it.
Is that where we are? Activity log?
No, sorry, I'm on the wrong page.
Okay.
Councillor Matard, if you want to go ahead, I'll find my question. You can go, supposed to start with.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Beck. To Councillor McCabe, and I just wanted to, and I know not everybody's here to support the emergency measure plan, but in reading that in its entirety over the last couple of days, I just wanted to acknowledge how well done it was and how thorough and comprehensive it is to have that plan in place. So obviously we don't have everybody here to take credit for whoever put that together. And I hope it, and it aligns with the bylaw that will be in place for EMO to also support that. Just a couple of things, I just have a small question here is, and again, it might just be clarification for me, but under the kind of the org structure of how this is set up is that there's the governance branch and then there's the emergency management director branch. And it's generally listed here as fire and or police. And the reason, for the obvious reasons that's pointed out is, maybe one would consider most emergency situations to be related to those two fields. However, down and below, when we talk about some of the other areas that might be impacted, but Public Works was one of them as well. And I wonder if at any point in time, an emergency situation could be deemed more on the Public Works side of things, so should it be led from an EMD perspective, so Emergency Measures Director, or would one always assume it would be led by fire and police, no matter what the situation was, and then they just become contributors into the next level of responsibility in those areas. So I just kind of noticed that, and again, it makes sense, but I also don't want to preclude Public Works as being not being kind of at that level to lead in that area if it's highly. And then just one last thing, sorry. And just throughout the document, again, I see references to, and these are just clerical things, but, it says Public Works Assistant Manager brackets Joey. Well, maybe we take out names and things of people, they're more positions as opposed to names. In throughout the documents is inconsistent. Some places there's names, some places not. Sometimes there's first names, last names, and sometimes there's not. Again, that's nothing, this thing's just a little cleanup on there, but, yeah, so that's my question on the Emergency Measures Director's, section.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Kay.
And I know Melanie's done a lot of work with Tim on the bylaw and Kent. So thank you to Melanie for all that work. It is certainly a lot of work. And what we were kind of hoping to do and look for through the naming of the people was to really explain to us committee and that initial stage of making sure. Let me know, yeah, okay, sorry, I feel like I'm in school. Let me know when you're done. And I am in school because I lost my train of thought. I think what we were saying there is it was more to explain to us kind of, we had been looking for the responsibilities of each department, but I think we can duly note that we can look at removing the names and stuff for that. As far as leading the organization, Tim is the lead in the emergency measures response, and it's a collaborative approach for sure. So I think if there was a situation in particular with Public Works, Tim and team would still be that initial, like your facilitator at the top, working collaboratively with all team players. Ken, if there's something I'm missing in that, you can jump in.
No, that's
Chief?
perfect. Yes,
Go
that's
ahead.
perfect. Chair, just to add to that, on scene, there would be, could be a unified command situation with senior field people with Public Works, Police, or Fire. So it could change the dynamics of different areas. So that's a possibility as well.
Go ahead.
And we also work with collaboratively with the province when we're responding. This emergency measures, it's kind of a whole collaborative approach, if I'm understanding the whole piece correct, yeah.
Intergovernmental cooperation. Councillor Twill?
I want to go to, again, it's on the emergency shelters, page 20. Primary reception centers, you've got West Royalty, Community Center, Hillsborough Park, Malcolm Dara, Eastlink, Trade Center, Eastlink, Center Arena, Sherwood Rec Hall. And then secondary, you've got Charlottetown Rural, Colonel Gray High School, Birchwood Junior High School, Queen Charlotte Stone Park. I brought up at the Public Works Committee when this topic had come up, not sure how it risen there, but nonetheless it was brought up, and I said that north of Houston, which is very, very high density, we have a lot of people that commute back and forth as pedestrians, heavy concentration of seniors, and I don't see a facility there for them in the event there's an emergency. So I have some recommendations. Maybe we could add to the secondary reception centers. St. Jean's School could be an option, as well as Jack Blanchard Hall. So I'd like to bring those two facilities forward as well, because again, it's a high density area. A lot of these people don't have transportation through no fault of their own, and I think it's imperative that we explore the opportunities for St. Jean's School and Jack Blanchard Hall as well. We have a lot of seniors that live in that area, across from the old co-op and further up, and also down where I live. So we've got to make sure that we have the facilities in the event that we have another Fiona, because the last time it was an unmitigated disaster. These people had nowhere to go. Some of them were without electricity for 2.5 weeks, and it was a pretty scary situation. So, Deputy Chief, please take those two particular locations under review.
Yeah.
I do have another question.
Go ahead.
And that is under
Page
3, police officers in the school.
Page 3, okay.
Police officers in the school, that is something that I brought to the forefront a number of years ago.
Yep.
I thought the program worked out well. Disappointed when the program was dissolved. I'm a strong proponent of police officers in the high schools. I read the rationale, some of the reasons for it. I think one of the major reasons why the police officers were introduced in the schools is the drug problem. I mean, they were over the Holy Redeemer parking lot selling drugs. There was the usual suspects there selling the drugs. Drugs is a major concern in around the high schools. And, you know, as far as bringing back and reinstating police officers in the high school, I think it's imperative, I think it's essential, it's indispensable to the safety and security of the student body, the faculty, the administration, and equally important, the community. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor McCabe, did you want to answer that? No. Okay, but we do have secondary, Colonel Gray's on there, Colonel Gray High School? Is that secondary, one of the secondary locations?
Yes, and I know Kent's here and Melanie are here, so they can, you know, if we need to amend and add as we need, I think that's, the focus was kind of our municipally owned buildings first, and then if things really progressed and we needed to get out.
Thank you. Councilor Tart?
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Councillor McCabe, for addressing my question about the Emergency Measures Director. I think that makes sense to me now and kind of how that's led from the, you know, from an incident management perspective. I did have a second question or a second comment, and Councillor Twill has alluded to it a little bit, but in reviewing the locations of the reception centers and our primary centers being local or city-owned, it was obvious to me that Simmons was not a part of that, which would be a facility with a large room there that could be used in this case. So I'm not sure if it's just not set up for it, or if it's something that should be considered. It could have just been a simple oversight, but is a fairly substantial that might encompass some of the area of what you're talking about. Okay, so, but nonetheless, still another option as a facility that could handle a large number of people. So wanted to point that out. Thank you.
And it's got an emergency generator backup too. Councilor Beck?
Thank you, Councillor McCabe, for your report. I did find it. I was down my page. So it is page 254.
254.
So I'm just going back to the abandoned vacant buildings. So if I understand it correctly, then the 18-month clock would put the Kirkwood Drive at September 2026, Sydney Street at May 2026, and the University Avenue one at October 2026. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
Councilor Beck, 253 is still the annex.
254.
Oh, you get the old, what's the new copy? What number is it?
Okay, sorry. It's under the,
What page is it?
I have the old copy and you have, it's
on the old copy, it was 254, so, sorry.
Yeah, I'm on the revised package. Okay, keep going, sir.
So, I just have a question about the 1517 Sydney Street. Is that a heritage building? Is there any heritage implications that might come with that building? I do know it's older in design and style and everything else. Mike is looking to take the mic, so maybe it might be best to go with Mike. I'll run it through you, Councilor McCabe.
Councilor McCabe, did you want to answer that first? You're going to answer if it's a heritage property? Councilor McCabe?
I'll let Mike answer, and then I'm going to explain kind of the discussion we had around safe and secure versus decrepit and ugly.
Mr. Michael?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through the chair to Councillor Beck, 1517 Sydney Street is a designated property. It's listed as a heritage resource under a preservation bylaw. In that list, it is indicated as a house with elegant details brought across the ice from Prim Point around 1860.
Okay. And Councilor McCabe, did you want to add something? Okay, Councilor Beck, another question?
Yeah, so I guess that kind of puts it in a bit of a separate category because of that, because it's a heritage property. So I don't think it kind of falls into the same, there's no heritage designation on those other two properties, which I think put them into that 18-month time period. But I think maybe 15, 17 almost might be removed, because I think we would have to deal with the heritage aspect of that in terms of what happens there, so. Just a thought that maybe.
Have to deal with the property owners to ask, like, this is a heritage resource, you have to do something with it.
Well, but I think I think with the other ones, I think if nothing is done with the properties,
There's an
then
order.
you can move to the next phase of whatever that phase may be, whether it be ordering repairs or ordering demolition. When we have a heritage property, we're not going to go ahead and order demolition because it's a heritage property. So I guess my main point here is that I think that property almost should be not included with other similar properties that are on the file.
Well, in the original list, 83 Houston, or 85 Houston was on the list, Houston Street Irving. That was on the dilapidated buildings.
Right, but it did not fall under we all knew that it did not fall under the same sort of conditions because of the heritage
This is the same
designation.
for 15 and 17, Sydney Street. We know that it's a heritage resource and we have to protect it or find the owners to protect it.
Well, and I guess that's my point. I think if someone's reading this and they might be looking at it and saying, okay, all these buildings are being treated the same, and I don't think we can be treating them the same. So either it be noted to reflect that it is a heritage designation and will require special circumstances. I don't know what it is. But I think if we're grouping all three of those same, I don't see them all in the same light. It's my basic point.
Councillor McCabe.
So what I've asked our managers and fire chief and deputy chief to do was to try to really break this whole bylaw down around dilapidated or unsafe. These are the buildings that have been deemed unsafe. They have to be secured, which they've been secured. And those next steps, yes, it happens, but it's very enmeshed, whether it's some of it falls to police, some of it falls to fire, some of it's about safety, some of it about unsightly. And I've asked our staff to kind of start breaking this down so it's a little clearer path to follow. Then we can take in like our new heritage bylaw. Is that going to, maybe there's a piece in that incorporates what happens in this situation. There's work to be done. There's no clear-cut answer right now that I would have. I don't know if you have one to provide this evening, but it's certainly something we can continue to talk about at committee level to look at how we can make this a little bit clearer.
Thank you, Councillor McCabe. Okay. We have first reading to repeal the emergency measures bylaw and replace with emergency management bylaw. CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. City of Charlottetown Emergency Management Bylaw, Bylaw 2006-EM-01. Repeal the emergency measures bylaw adopted July 12, 1999, and replace it with the emergency management bylaw number 2026-EM-01. The purpose of the emergency management bylaw is to establish an emergency management program to outline organizational structure and procedures for the City of Charlottetown to effectively manage emergencies and disasters. Let it be resolved that the bylaw to amend the City of Charlottetown Emergency Management Bylaw 2026-EM-01 be read a first time, moved by Councillor Julie McCabe and seconded by Councillor Kevin Ramsey.
Shall it pass? Deputy?
Pass.
Let it resolve that the bylaw now be approved as a city bylaw and that it be entitled the City of Charlottetown Emergency Management Bylaw number 2026-EM-01 and it be read a second time at the next public meeting of council, moved by Councillor Julie McCabe and seconded by Councillor Kevin Ramsey.
Shall I carry? Good. Okay. Thank you, sir. And Deputy, good?
I'm good to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Councillor Ramsey? 7.10, Parks, Recreation, Leisure Activities, Councillor Kevin Ramsey.
Ward 5. You
Ward
didn't
5.
say it. The Parks and Recreation Leisure met February 5th, 2026. The draft minutes are in your package. The Senior Engagement Committee met December 4th and January 8th. The minutes are also been included in your package. The Youth Engagement Committee met on December 18th and January 15th, and those minutes are being included. We have no resolutions. Your worship, and once again, I know everyone thanked the Spud Committee, but it was very, very, very well run. Back in the day when Councillor Bernard and Councillor Beck and Councillor Matard, as I sort of look around the room, I think everybody was involved in the Spud back in the day, and now it's good to see our boys and girls looking after it there now. Like your Andrew Hall with his boys looking after it, Brody O'Keefe, which is Alan O'Keefe, my son Stephen was there, and things along that line. So it's been passed down from generation to generation. It's well run, it's well rehearsed, and it's fallen into place. And everybody really, really enjoyed Simmons, the people from our way, and it was very well attended. And getting back to when Councillor Bernard brought up about a curling rink, that's been under discussions a few times, that we had a few one-on-one talks about it. We didn't have any meetings, we talked. And I think it's a great idea that we put a survey out there, but be careful what we're asking for on the survey question. And then we'll go from there, because I think the capital city should have a curling rink. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And it was the Eastern Dukes that won the U16, correct? Eastern Dukes? Yeah, that's right, I heard that. Councillor Trio, Councillor Beck.
I want to bring to your attention, you mentioned Brody McMurray has been, Brody Keith, okay, sorry. Keith was, he approached me about a year ago with regards to recognizing the memories of Jeff Mobbs and now Joey Matheson. Both these young boys were raised in Ward 4, and Brody's been very dedicated, very determined to remember their memories. He's good friends with Libba Mobbs, Jeff's mother, and I think Parks and Rec's talking about a wall in Simmons where we can start to recognize some of our young athletes that passed on much too soon. So I'm looking forward to see how that's going to unfold, and the preparation and of course discussions with the families out of respect for them as well. I too think we should have a curling rink, but I want to reiterate to you as well, from talking with representatives from the curling community, they want the city of Charlottetown to own the facility. So please keep that in mind. If that's the case, then Public Works has to be involved as well, right? Public Works looks after and builds all facilities in the city of Charlottetown. So, Chair Ramsey, please take that under consideration. And I want to bring up, we talk about safety and security, Victoria Park and dogs off leash on the Confederation Trail. I think we need a plan for the Joe Gibbs Park. Last year was very troublesome for the community, not being able to access that park because of the amount of drug usage and people with addictions occupying the park. Parents and grandparents don't feel safe bringing their children and grandchildren to the park. It's gone on much too long. I think beginning this year, Parks and Rec, along with the police department, senior administration, has to be decisive with a plan of action to discourage people with addictions and open air drug usage, needles and crack pipes and everything else that goes with it in the Joe Gibbs Park. It has to stop. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Councillor Ramsey.
Thank you very much. Councillor Trio, they're all great points. As far as Simmons, we are working on a wall, a memorial wall. Jeffrey Mobbs, who I know, he's a year younger than my oldest boy, happened in St. John, and we were all involved in that. We already got his sweater, it's already reframed, so we're working on the wall right there. Joey Matheson there's a division renamed after him now. I don't believe I think it's the George Trainer one, maybe?
Or Trainer Classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. So we are still working on it, and there's ongoing discussions going on about it. And as far as the Joe Giz Park, with senior management, police, Parks, Recreation, Public Works, that's an ongoing issue that we are going to discuss next meeting. Thank you very much.
Councillor Beck.
Thank you for your report, Councillor Ramsey. I do have a few questions about, in the report. The first one is on page 270, well, I'm working on the old. It's under the update on dogs off leash concerns. So, sorry, on the old,
Page 284.
thank you, Deputy. Okay, I'm looking at I have all my notes on the old file, not on the new one, so, that we got this afternoon. So under about halfway down, it says enforcement of fines remains the responsibility of a bylaw enforcement officer, which is our bylaw enforcement officer, and the Humane Society. Can we clarify that? That would be the APOs, correct, Christopher, or Councillor Ramsey?
I can pass it on to our assistant manager.
Christopher, would that be the animal protection officers that would be involved?
Go ahead,
in that?
Chris.
Thank you, Chair, through to our Chair, to Councillor Beck. So it would be the PEI Humane Society, the contract that's to them, that they would be able to enforce fines as well as the bylaw enforcement officer if they're in the park and witness any infractions with regards to the dogs off leash.
Yeah, but I guess my question is, who's going to be issuing those on behalf of the Humane Society? Would it be the APOs that would be doing that? Because kind of going into what Councillor Tweel was talking about earlier, we do have a contract specifically with Humane Society. Just for clarification purposes, I'd like to know that if.
They have an officer with Humane Society that does that.
Sorry?
They have an officer with Humane Society, contracted by the Humane Society, that has the jurisdiction to give out tickets.
Issues of fines.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I've heard through these discussions is animal protection officers. Is that are they the ones that are doing it, or is it a different individual who is responsible for that?
Humane Society.
I would believe it would be the Humane Society because they're the ones that have the contract, or the bylaw enforcement officer if they're in the park and witness the incident that happens.
Okay, thank you. Page 277, sorry, it's under the new initiative form it's a request for Simmons Artificial Turf Field attendance from August 1st to November 15th, 2026. Is that premature?
What was the question again, sir?
The question is, under the new initiative form for the operational budget, there's a request for a new Simmons Artificial Turf Field attendance from August 1st to November 15th, 2026. And then there's projections for 2027 down below. It's 290 in the revised copy. Thank you, Tracy.
You go ahead, Christopher. It's operational, sir.
Christopher? Through the mayor to, or our chair to Councillor Beck. So the request is for staff attendance to be on site. So we do currently not have staff that would be working at the field. So the anticipated opening of the turf field is August of this year. And we would require to have staff to be on site to oversee the bookings and the users at the field. And being that we don't have that in our current budget, we are putting forward a request in our new initiatives in our operational budget to have those staff in the budget going forward, and then anticipating that in 2027, the field would be open a full season from April 15th to November 15th, to also have staff on site for when the field is in operation.
Okay, so the August 1st still is the anticipated date then? Okay, thank you. 287, which I think would be 300 maybe in your updated one, since I think we're 13. I think I'm 13 pages behind. If I was. It's under the Parks and Rec report for dogs off leash as well. It's page 300. Second paragraph down there in the end, the bylaw officer was in communication with staff at the Humane Society. Both the Humane Society and the bylaw officer provided responses to the concern received. Was that to the individual that laid the concern? Is that who that communication was done with? I'll ask maybe.
Do you want to defer that, Councillor Ramsey? Yes, sir.
Through the mayor to our chair and Councillor Beck, I honestly can't answer that question because communications, the manager was working on this file. So if there was communications between himself or I know he was communicating directly with the bylaw enforcement officer and the Humane Society. So those communications would have been through those three individuals.
Okay.
Of course, send an email?
Yeah.
We can follow, yes, he's back tomorrow, so
Thank
I
you.
will have him follow up and he can respond to you with regards to that.
I appreciate that. Okay. The last question is, one of the discussions that emanated from this story was the whole off-leash possibilities. Have we had any discussion about what possibilities that might look for, either in a dedicated park or in some kind of operational adjustment that might be made within the park? Has there been any updates on that? I'll run that through you, Councillor Ramsey.
Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, in fact, thanks for your question, Councillor Beck. We just discussed this, and we had a draft brought up, it's in your package there, of our new signage, which is gonna be bigger and better, and whatever's gonna happen, and like, if there's a dog around, and by the time everyone makes that phone call, I mean, that person's gonna be gone. And that's the frustrating part about it. But as saying, we're making our signs much bigger and putting more signs around, and we're hoping to do all the parks with this.
Okay.
And the
Councillor Beck,
trail,
you wanna-
yes,
You want us to
thank
just
you.
stand up there and just ask your, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not referring to the signage. I agree with the signage changes and what was proposed and putting the potential vials and the QR codes and all that. It's more about the off-leash part, because the interesting part is that there's been a lot of discussions that people have approached me with a lot of questions about since this, since I guess I was a front-facing person on it. But there's questions about the whole off-leash part, and I think that is the important component. There's the enforcement component, there's the awareness component, there's the awareness campaign that's going to be done by our communications department, but I think the remaining piece is still the discussion about the off-leash piece, which could alleviate some of the concerns that Councillor Twill has alluded to and others have alluded to with regards to safety and in the park, because we do want the park to be enjoyed by everybody. And I think that's the ultimate goal. So if that can be kept on as a, I don't know, if there's no update, that's fine. If there is, I think that's something that should be considered to be explored.
Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, thank you again, Councillor Beck, and that's your off-leash park. I know the one in East Royalty is well-used. In fact, it's overused some days probably, but if we can find property within the city and maybe work with the province where the old hospital was or something along that line, I'm just throwing that out there for an example. But if we can find property within the city, it'd be a perfect setting. Because I know down by my park, the Queen Elizabeth Park, like I know people go down there, and as soon as they get down there, the dogs are off the leash.
Yeah.
So if we had a place for them to go, it'd be fantastic, but we will certainly take that back to our committee and see what land is available and who we can work with.
Just this past weekend, Christopher and Councillor, we were out to Experimental Farm. People take their dogs up there to go off leash. Is that something we can do with, I think it falls under the Agriculture Canada? Speak to them?
It's already there.
But are we?
Oh, experimental.
Experimental Farm. I know they go out there, lots of people. We were up there playing Super Bowl street hockey. We lost. Councillor Twill.
think you gotta be careful with the experimental farm. It's true, a lot of residents will take their dogs there, but the first thing, the Agricultural Canada will say, there's liability issues. So
Well, that's,
you gotta
we'll
be-
we'll find that out, we'll ask.
No, you don't have to find it out. I'm telling you
Well-
that's the thing that they
Yeah.
function under is liability issues. So, we can't get into, the city can't get into actually promoting experimental farm as
No.
an off-leash park because of that fact.
Yeah.
Same thing with the road being cut off and not being able to drive through there. It's because of liability issues as well. Residents do go, I think they're well aware of that. And, knock on wood, everything's okay, but you get into a situation, whatever happens, then it's liability. And if we want to take that on, that responsibility on, then we're into legal ramifications and legal implications.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying to promote it, I'm just saying that there are persons that go there, and I don't see I don't see the Humane Society up there, but it's just an option. Councillor McAleer.
Yeah, who let the dogs out? Like, just to confirm what we're talking about here, like the off-leash, off-leash area, I assume from Councillor Beck, who's, has been, front and center on this, in that you're trying to establish something that's closer to the core of the city, because Upton Farms off leash, like it's a great area. I don't know, there's something like 20 acres out there on leash, off leash, and West Worley, and I wasn't aware of what's going on. I guess unofficially experimental farm, but anyway, okay, I understand it. So it's more in the core of the downtown here, and I just asked Councillor McKinnon if dogs are allowed in the transit system. And it's service dogs. So anyway, thank you.
Councillor Beck, let's wrap her up there, old buddy. What do you?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think everyone's well aware of the current options that are available. I think the interesting part about it, there's a very wide variety of perspectives on this whole thing. You talk to one person, you get one perspective. You talk to another person, it's a totally different perspective. So it's quite and the thing is, the commonality is the profound love of dogs that people have. So that's what we're trying to serve here, is pet owners and dog owners in particular, who are trying to find areas within the core of the area, and whether it be the land behind the old PI hospital, or be it the experimental farm. Those are all discussions that have to happen with agreements with different levels of orders of government. So the reality is that we don't have a lot of land options to do this. So the land that is available would require collaboration or consultation or agreements with other levels or maybe other municipalities, who knows. But I think, I guess my main point here is I just want to keep that conversation going. Not as a dog owner. I'm not a dog owner, full disclosure, but I think that the number of conversations that I've had is warrant that continuing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Ramsey, you want to take it under?
Closing, Your Worship, yes, this is all on our agenda, and we're certainly going to keep it alive, looking for land, and the whole discussion, Councillor Drong is big on it, and then Councillor Bernard, who both sit on our group, and we're all in for it, and if we can find the land and work with the people, it's going to be a good job.
Councillor
So
Bernard.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
No, I was just going to say, it doesn't have to be really difficult. The land we have in Hillsborough Park, the province owns it. So we dealt with the province, we asked them if we can use it for a dog park. We worked out an MOU, and it was done. So I don't think it's that difficult. It's just finding the right piece of land, and if different levels of government own it, then it's having that conversation to see if it can happen. So, thank you.
New business. We have one resolution, 2 appointments.
New business resolution number 1, Your Worship, moved by Councillor Terry Bernard and seconded by Councillor Kevin Ramsey. let it be resolved that effective immediately, the following appointments to the Guild Board of Directors, as recommended by His Worship Mayor Philip Brown, be approved. Nadine Haddad and Achini Rathu Kamaraj.
Favor? Deputy Mayor? Yeah, Deputy Mayor Yankoff?
In favor?
Thank you. Okay. We need a break. Okay. Number 8, motion to move into a closed session as per the Municipal Government Act of Prince Edward Island, Section 119, subsection 1A, commercial information which, if disclosed, would likely be prejudicial to the municipality or parties involved. 119, subsection 1B, information received in confidence, which, if disclosed, would likely be prejudicial to the municipality or parties involved. Section 119, subsection 1D, human resource matters, including labor relations or employee negotiations. Section 119, subsection 1E, a matter still under consideration on which the council has not yet publicly announced a decision and about which discussion in public would likely prejudice a municipality's ability to carry out its negotiations. Labor negotiations, CUPE 501, collective agreement, section 119, subsection 1D, proposed electric vehicle charger installation, section 119, subsection 1A, proposed land purchase, section 119, subsection 1B and E. So, we need a motion, moved. Well, we're going into closed session right away. Moved, second by Councillor Bernard, second by Councillor McCabe. All in favor? Okay,
In favor?
okay, we're going to close session. Now, Councillor Twill, can you
Buddy? We're doing land purchase. Open session. Okay, we're back in the open session and we have two resolutions, sir?
3 resolution, Your Worship.
Okay, arising from the closed session. Do you want to read the first one and then we'll go through that?
Certainly, Finance, Audit, and Tendering Administration Resolution number 4, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Councillor Terry Bernard. Let it be resolved that the City of Charlottetown agrees to purchase a portion of the CADC events grounds for the Water Street right-of-way in the amount of $600,000, and that the
No, Councillor Twill has a light on, green light. Councillor Twill.
Yep, thank you. I'd like to state that as Chair of the Public Works Committee, it certainly wasn't discussed at the Public Works Committee during my time as the Chair. There was discussion around a purchase of a sale of property, which did not allude to what Council's considering here today. I see flaws in the process. One, it did not come through the Public Works Committee. Two, I was never informed or engaged in any which way, shape, or form with the purchase of this particular property. Three, I didn't support the original resolution that was passed by council for a variety of reasons. At that time, we went off island to come to terms with an agreement for an off-island firm to do the work when our own local companies, island companies here, could have done the work as well. And three, when you look at the so-called master plan, there was supposed to be a beach down the Eastern Gateway Master Plan, and that was the so-called rationale for the road going from Water Street to Grafton Street. I don't see the beach. I didn't support the original expenditure. I see a flaw in the process, and as the Chair of Public Works, it was stated here earlier that this is a Public Works expenditure, yet we were not updated at the Public Works Committee. So for those reasons, my answer is no.
Councillor McCabe, did you want to?
Yeah, I think it's
As
really
former chair.
important to clarify, just for public records, we're saying, it's never come through committee, and we already had this discussion, but so just to reassure the public that this has been discussed. It was discussed when I was the Chair of Public Works. It was brought to council for approval of certain things. As we said also, is that some of these projects are approved financially a while ago. We just get to points. I think what we've learned through this is that maybe we could have some regular updates as to where these projects sit so that we are aware. I'm not going to get into a battle, Councillor Schweel, tonight. We've been spending a lot of time discussing this. We all understand your point. I think the big thing is that you feel that you have been maybe not updated. That's unfortunate, and we can do better with that, but I think it's time to recognize work's done. Thank
Do you want to call the question?
I do.
Yeah, sure, but she's called the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, follow up. That's all well and good, Councillor McKay, but the bottom line is, as the Chair of the committee, and being the Chair of the committee, right, we never had these discussions. I don't know why it was never put on the agenda. We have our manager, we have our CAO. Somebody please tell me why it was never put on the agenda for us to be updated, discussed, or approved and bring a recommendation. I don't think that is an unreasonable request. What happens here with a lot of these expenditures of purchasing property is that we get trapped every time you turn around, and all I ever hear is we can do better, we can do better. Well, we don't seem to do better, right? We don't. So as the chair, out of respect for the position that I hold, I could not in good conscience support this.
Okay. Councillor McCabe.
That's fair, and I don't disagree with Councillor Tweel. I think we do need to, when I say do better, I think communication and updates, we're looking at
And we are
ways
doing
we can
better.
improve on that, for sure. I don't disagree with you, Councillor Tweel, that we all should be informed on what's going on. I just wanted it clear that this has been done and followed the proper process.
Councillor Beck and then Councillor McAleer.
This really, the Public Works component is done. This is a financial matter. It went through the finance, it was vetted through the finance committee, came back to a through committee, as was explained to us. And the other part about it is this deal or this component was coming at some point in time. And the work, physical work is done. This is a completion of ongoing discussions that have been happening. So it's really a finance matter. I think it landed in the appropriate area. And it has been, to second what Councillor McCabe said, it was vetted through, the process was followed through the appropriate committee. And I do not share the feeling that we were trapped. This is part of an ongoing process that has been unfolding, predates, several years. So I certainly support it.
And Albert, $14 million project with federal, provincial, municipal funding, intergovernmental cooperation. Councillor McAleer and then Councillor Bernard.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Brown. Yeah, just for the public record, the Chair of Finance and someone who sat and still sits on Public Works, to Councillor Tweel's point, currently on Public Works, perhaps he didn't have the knowledge, but this project, Eastern Gateway project, was dealt with, talked about at Public Works. Former manager, Councillor McCabe chaired Public Works. So this dynamic was talked about. The reality is we've had this Eastern Gateway project completed, major infrastructure program, $15 million thereabouts, major stormwater work done, sewer water upgrades, and there has been, the event grounds and this piece of real estate that this infrastructure sits on. There's timing around getting the project started because of funding. So there were things that were done perhaps beforehand that because of ownership that wasn't perfect, but perhaps that's something we can improve upon going forward, working with our partner CADC on this sort of thing. The reality is the work's been done. There's the valuation is in the packages that we have, and I certainly support the resolution for the $600,000 that's on the table for this purchase of land for this infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bernard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll be quick. And maybe where the missing link is this project started and was completed before Councillor Tweel was appointed Chair of Public Works. So this has gone through all the committees. It's come to Council. All the tenders that were done has come. We knew we were going to owe this money. This was a project, the Eastern Gateway project. This was started, I think it actually started doing the underground work in 2019.
That's what I was asking Richard about,
So this
Director of
project's been
Community
ongoing.
Services.
We knew we were going to owe money for the land. Now it's time to pay it. It's not like there was anything done wrong, things weren't put through committees, they all come through committees, they all come through the tender documents, and they all come through here. So I'm definitely in favor of paying for our share of that project.
Question was called. No, question was called, Councillor Tweel. Question was called. All in favor? Deputy Mayor Yankoff, yea or nay?
In favor.
All against? 8-2, Councillor Tweel and Councillor McKinnon. Okay, do we have another resolution, sir?
Your Worship, Human Resources Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Norman Beck and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Oh.
Is this 501?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Oh, we were going to leave that to the end.
Oh, sorry.
Leave that way he can just head out.
Let me start again, Your Worship. Public Works Committee Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Mitchell Tweel and seconded by Councillor John McAleer. Let it be resolved that as per conditions of the public tender for Level 3 electric vehicle charger installation, the submission of Hanson Solar Energy in the amount of $219,000 plus all applicable taxes be accepted, and that a budget transfer from the Public Works capital account for parkage, major repairs and parking - new public parking spaces in the amount of $219,000 plus all applicable taxes to the municipal buildings - brownfield redevelopment initiative be carried out, and that the mayor and the CEO are hereby authorized to execute standard contracts and agreements to implement this resolution.
Okay, Councillor Tweel.
No, he just had it on.
Okay. Question called?
Question called.
All those in favor? Deputy Mayor Yankoff?
In favor.
10-0. Okay. Councillor McKinnon is leaving because he's in conflict of interest. Okay.
Your Worship, Human Resources Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Norman Beck and seconded by Councillor Julie McCabe. Let it resolve that the City of Charlottetown accept the attached Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE 501 collective agreement for the term January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2026, effective February 10th, 2026.
And I want to thank our HR team. Thank you, Emily McLeod, and our negotiating team to get this through. All in favor? Deputy?
In favor, Your Worship.
9-0. Motion to adjourn. Thank you very much.